about the three instruments that spelled out the...
I can't remember that.
It's before you. That is our S. You real, perhaps more of an administrative role?
It is very important that in SPS2, that is where you have the sorry?
On the second page, close to, I believe that is what you are...
No, that's not what I want to say. What I want to say is
As you please.
that is the key one. It says that the chair, the commission. But of course, and I is voting, then the chairman naturally would have the casting vote. I believe, because I have not seen any other. It is exactly SBS2 commissioner. No special role appears ever high. We were all equal and voting. And I will tell you that I cannot remember once when I am, and it is not, there is very happy about it. I was very happy when that was the case, accountant. So naturally, when you have she would leave. Not that we were, that's with Adios John, the accountant would leave on it. Give us a lot of knowledge, knowledge of the world, and so on. The other things like banking, for instance. Into matters of law and so on, of course, I would lead counsel. And we all respected him. The secretary would be there, of course, to record. And later on, the secretary was assigned certain duties.
That is your role as chairperson. Indeed, you have made clear that your role as chairperson did not quite differ voting. That is perhaps when we all had some privileges to it.
I believe we ever voted.
I understand.
So, yes.
So can you in between how the consensus agreement would come up with? And if those disagreements arose, would the consensus mean that one or two of you would have to amend their position?
Depending on the subject matter, you discuss, you disagree, here or there, and so on, and then on that convinced by your colleague or by another colleague. Look, that's it.
Thank you, Mr. John.
Simple as that.
Thank you. MJ 3A, 3C, and 3D. I do, just for the record. MJ 3D. Surahata. Yes, Janet. Did I say it well? Understand? If the secretariat could assist, present these few seconds to those organs.
I think you mark it. All right. We are going to mark it later as Exhibit 4.
Which word are you referring to as Exhibit 4? Perhaps you can indicate what letter that is.
All right. Okay, and I see also emoji. Emoji 3A. Address to Abiose. Signed by Chairman Marena, Solicitor General, and bigger sec.
Indeed. However, the contents of the third one, the contents of MO,
yes.
For the address.
Okay.
And there's a slight difference between the two letters. If you look at paragraph, the second paragraph.
The letter addressed to me and the letter addressed to...
Yes, both letters.
To Bymas.
Yes, all three letters. We focus on the second paragraph.
From you that the President of the Republic of the Gambia is Excellency Adam Barrow, acting under section you as Commissioner in the Commission of Inquiry into the financial activities of designated as the chairperson of the Commission. Terms of reference. Okay, that's all.
Before you go on to the next, it says kindly
familiarize yourself with the
Commission's terms.
And yes, this is the one addressed to.
There's a similar paragraph.
Addressed to. There's a Christian. Where I've read this one. The one addressed to Abiose George. Attached herewith. And your
record.
Yes.
I would refer that you can confirm that the contents of MOJ 3A and 3C, 3 and MOJ 3C are exactly the same. One being for Mr. Bymas Sen, and the other being addressed to yourself. There is a fundamental difference. And the difference, as you can confirm, is that for the other two letters, there is reference to an attached.
It is exactly as it is. Yeah.
That begins with kindly.
No, kindly. That's the that's the start.
Indeed.
I'm very short too. Kindly familiarize yourself with the kindly in the letter. Attached. I see. So, the commission terms of in the one addressed to me. That is the difference I can see.
Documents are referred to the Commission's terms of reference as well as the individual. And reference is being made to an attachment, which would be the individual's. Only one document is to. The document asks that you familiarize yourself with the general mandate. Were you ever furnished with a TOR, a term of reference, as
this is the one that I have?
two commissioners?
Yeah.
It is clear that a TOR personal to the other two commissioners will you ever briefly to any of those?
Yeah, any of the term of
You move on from that. If the Secretariat could commission
prior
to the establishment of the commission, 2070.
I can't remember. Concerning what
We should receive the reports from different institutions as to to preserve all the assets that were sent. Mr. Judge, I would like to look Mr. Jana, then the committee will benefit from context to refer to the document so that we are following your distinguishing the TOR and the mandate.
The mandate, I've already explained what the mandate is. And what, for instance, I've said that section 202 in the Constitution is where you have the primary mandate of the Commission. The Supreme. There was a time in England as well as in the Ghana when we didn't even have a constitution because we acted. But now, since the constitution of the Gambia, constitutional supreme, parliament is there since 1900. Everything there is part of the mandate because it has not been acted. Unless what is in that act, because I've already explained that this constitution is supreme. I stand on this.
For the purpose of illustration,
Yes.
could you guide us as far to as the mandate of the Commission in the Constitution and vis-a-vis the TOR of the Commission?
Yes.
You have a copy of the Constitution with you, or are you accompanied by?
Well, I read it. I think I read it. Yes, I've got the book.
Guide the committee as to the mandate of the Commission, the TOR of the Commission. Your position, I believe, mandate 2021 and would find
It is exists. Now we deal with the Constitution. It starts with well, the president. When he or she deems it advisable, issue a commission appointing one or more commissioners authorizing said commission. Any of the public service or any local authority, any matter, whatever, liable for any act in respect of any matter or thing bona fide done in the performance of his or her functions as a commissioner. Yeah, that is.
Yeah, we apologize.
I'll give you. Please, sorry.
The video.
That's fine. I appreciate.
I would be very happy if you allow me to finish.
I appreciate the context. However, I am trying to solicit to our destination. We do agree.
Law, as far as I know.
Indeed.
That's why I'm going to the law.
However,
I wouldn't usually go to the law.
as you please, please guide us through the law.
I'm not here to give any lecture or anything. Though I should. I don't know. Frankly, I don't recognize you. What's your name, please?
Mr. With all due respect,
Present in your name. Why shouldn't you present your?
I'll give you my name and the name
I
of
say I
my...
don't recognize you.
Fair enough.
I am fully recognized here as somebody.
Indeed, I do recognize you as the bearer.
Yes. So, if you are Ugandan, you must give me respect. Regarding that, the law.
Indeed.
Okay, so I am saying, if we are talking about the law,
Since you asked the
and
question,
comparison,
the-
I have to leave it. If you allow me, of course. Well, Mr. Chair, if you allow.
yes,
I want to look at the
the witness has posed the question to me. I would like to answer that question for the witness.
Yes.
If the chair would allow me. You posed it, Mr. Gada, and even though I am not the witness for today, I would afford you the courtesy because you are the one of the bar. My name's Lamin Mdina, and I would like to indicate that the Special Senate Committee, as it is,
Yes, I will go. In fact, this is section 202.
are you saying?
Sorry,
Of the Constitution.
of the Constitution. A person against whom any such adverse finding, as if the findings by the honorable member who have where we have been truly as closely as possible the High Court of the Uganda. High Court, and I will give you the instances, and this is one of them. At our judgment, or at our findings, our rulings, or whatever. As if, and I repeat, as if, I'm reading from the Constitution, as if the finding were a judgment of the High Court, and on the hearing of the appeal shall be treated as if it were such a judgment. That's only one. The High Court features again at section to the same immunities and privileges as if he or she were a witness proceedings before the High Court. And that's how
Jar Oil. The company has filling stations across the country.
yeah. This one is particularly because for the honorable member. The honorable member of something like it. I believe it's also the Commission of Enquiries Act of 1903. For so many years,
you, Mr. Garrett. Proceedings paper of the commission, at least not today. The committee is interested in today this preliminary activity. Section 202(1)(b). As you had earlier mentioned, yes.
That's the one I just read.
Yes, we read it, so no need to read it again.
Yeah.
You had earlier mentioned that that is where the mandate of the commission can be found. And to deduce from the provisions of section 2021, in my mind, feel free to confirm or deny. There are two important elements of section 2021, especially with regards to the inner workings of the commission, because by legal notice, it had military consequences. But before that, if you will permit me, can we go back to
I want to understand, you mentioned budgetary.
in budgetary implication? Somewhere. That is the order from the High Court.
Yes, emoji 5. I get it.
When used, when gone through, when looked at, MOJ 5A is the correct, is a order laying custody of several assets to several individuals. And Indian Livestock Management Agency, marketing rather, agency, rather of having custody of all domestic animals, if I may put it that way.
For the State of Select Committee to commence business. Those in favor? Thank you. First, what we will do is to look at the agenda for our program for the members of the committee. Can we go through it, and if there's any issues for us to sort out? Okay. All right, that's been moved and seconded that the agenda for today to be considered and adopted. First of all, good morning to all of you, and welcome to the State Select Committee of the National Assembly and the inquiry of the disposal of assets by the former president. First, what I would say is all mobile phones need to be on silent. We are not going to accept distraction, so please put your phones on silent. Good morning, Honorable Attorney General. On behalf of the State Select Committee of the National Assembly, I welcome you to this sitting convened to inquire into the sales and disposal of the assets identified by the Commission of Inquiry into the financial activities of public bodies, enterprises, and offices as regards their dealings with former President Yahya Jammeh and connected matters. You are appearing today in response to the summons duly issued by this committee to provide testimony on matters within your knowledge that are relevant to the subject of our inquiry. Please be reminded that you are appearing under oath and pursuant to the provisions of the 1997 Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia. It constitutes content of the National Assembly to knowingly withhold, misrepresent, or conceal any information relevant to the committee's work. Furthermore, in accordance with parliamentary privilege, Any statement you make before this committee shall not be used against you in any court of law, except in cases of perjury. That is, if it is proven that you deliberately provided false information while under oath, you are therefore expected to cooperate fully and provide truthful, accurate, and complete responses to the questions posed to you, whether by the committee's legal counsel or by honorable members of this committee. The committee appreciates your presence and expects your utmost conduct and cooperation throughout this proceeding. Honorable Attorney General, thank you for your presence today. For the purpose of this session, Honorable, we will confine ourselves to matters concerning the establishment of the Commission of Inquiry under the legal regime of 2028. We are particularly interested in the legal basis, institutional rationale, and the role of the Ministry of Justice in shaping the Commission's mandate and structure. We trust that as the current head of the ministry and custodian of the institutional memory, you are well placed to assist this committee in understanding the context and processes that led to the Commission's formation. On that note, thank you so very much for coming. As I said before, straight, you wouldn't waste time. You will hand it over to the legal department. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you, Honorable Chair. Good morning, Honorable Attorney General. I would ask the Honorable Chair, perhaps this is a convenient time for us to do the oath taking. If the Secretariat could administer that at this present time.
I just hold you there. Before we go there, I think we need to do some introduction of members of the high table and of course the support staff for the audience to know. So first what we'll do is I'll introduce myself. I am Honorable Abdullah Sise, the chairperson of the State Select Committee of the National Assembly.
Honorable Sir, a member of the committee.
Honorable Jammeh, a member of the committee.
Honorable Chair, we would like advice whether you want us to introduce ourselves as well, or should we proceed? Very well. I'll begin with my humble self. I am Lamin Ndiba. I am counsel to the committee. To my left is Ajisein Ka. She's also counsel to the committee. To my right is Tony F. Mendy, also counsel to the committee. We also have Mr. Amadou Ba, also counsel to the committee.
All right, thank you so very much. Now we can hand to the legal department to administer the oath for the witness before we proceed. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. We would ask the able assistance of the Secretariat to assist us with the oath.
I, Dada A. Jallo, do solemnly and sincerely and truly affirm that the evidence I shall give before this committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Thank you, Honorable Attorney General. Chair of the Commission, we delve straight in. And when I say straight in, Honorable Attorney General, as the Chair had mentioned, we will delve, before we delve into the issues dealt with by the Commission proper, it is important that the committee understands the foundational reasoning behind setting up the committee. And with that, could you kindly walk the committee through the principal considerations leading to the invocation of Section 200, effectively establishing the committee?
Very much. My knowledge of the rationale for the establishment of the committee is only limited to the recitals of the legal notice that I read. There are 4 paragraphs which were the recitals to the legal notice. And that's what I take to be the government's reasoning stated on paper, leading to the establishment of the commission. Anything outside of that I don't know, because I've never interacted with anybody to find out what was the rationale, because I was not in office at the time it was created.
Thank you, Honorable. While the committee would appreciate that you perhaps were not the Attorney General at the time, the Ministry remains the institutional custodian of all legal policy and executive legal advice. We would agree that it is reasonable to expect that critical deliberation rationale concerning the establishment of the commission would be recorded and be retained by your office.
I have not come across any of such documents, but if the committee is interested to find that out, we can dig into the records and see if we find any we are happy to say.
Which, through your authority, I would ask that the committee sought for such documents.
Thank you. I think it's important, Attorney General, so you can provide the documentation.
Yes, we will look into it.
So, thank you.
Honorable AG, if we look at legal notice number 15 of 2017, that is indeed the establishing instrument for the commission. Is that so?
Yes, it is.
Legal notice number 15 of 2017 cites preliminary reports from several institutions. And that is in paragraph 1 of the preamble. You cite it? Can you confirm?
Yes, confirm.
Given the findings in the said report, can you, with the commission chair, Honorable AG, can you kindly just read the first line of that paragraph?
Preliminary reports received from the Central Bank of the Gambia, and Secretary, Gambia Ports Authority, Gambia Communications Company, National Electricity Company Limited, Assets Bank Recovery Corporation, Protection, and other public institutions and government services indicate that substantial funds were either directly or indirectly withdrawn, paid out, or expended on the instructions or directives received from the Office of the President during the tenure of the,
during the tenure in office of former President Jammeh, sometimes for unknown purposes.
Now, Honorable Chair, before I go further to discussing legal notice number 15 of 2017, we'd like to identify for the purposes of the committee as MOJ submission number 2 on the list. And in fact, Honorable Chair, if we can formally just tender every single document submitted by the ministry, marked MOJ 1 to MOJ 11. MOJ 1 being a cover letter accompanying the submission, all the way through MOJ 11 being the government white paper. I would ask that as we proceed, perhaps the Secretariat should aid in affording the Honorable AG a copy of this itemized list to ask for him to confirm the submission. To ask for him to confirm the submission.
That's fine. Go ahead. Thank you. That's fine. Go ahead. Thank you.
So if the chair is comfortable, if the committee is comfortable, we would propose that we take the references in our list as proposed, as before you. So,
That's okay. That's
so
fine.
to continue, the legal notice number 2017 is MOJ 2. I'll refer the committee to MOJ 2. And for the benefit of the legal notice 15 of 2017. Anyway, given the findings in the said report, which was the report highlighted in paragraph 1 of legal notice number 15 of 2017, did the ministry record show why the government opted for a commission of inquiry model instead of pursuing other mechanisms? Other mechanisms, if I can suggest, would be investigation by by the Auditor General, the IGP, or even a special prosecutor or task force. If you could guide the committee.
To be honest, I never said I would be giving the mind of the ministry for the time that I was not in the ministry. So unless you are inviting, then I can search for those documents. But only the thing at the time, I think I'm competent to testify.
I appreciate that, AGI. The committee is of the opinion that the ministry is a ministry of continuity, it's a ministry of record, and you have undertaken to provide those records if they exist, and I appreciate that. The committee rather would still like some clarity in some of these issues. Now, if your stand is that you do not believe you are the proper witness to speak to those issues, then perhaps we will put it in form of opinion. As far as
I'm not too sure I'm being heard clearly. This is about thinking. These are human beings. So other than records, the human thinking that went into the decision making, I cannot testify to that. I wasn't there. I cannot even express an opinion on it.
Okay, we'll move on the account that the AG would provide the committee?
Yes, we'll check for all the documents that we can find relating to that period. Any document that, while the thinking was going on, anything that they read, right, and it's available to provide for that thinking, decision making, I just write that.
Thank you, Honorable. In that case, we proceed to a suit filed by your office in May of 2017. Again, that is before you came into office, but on this issue, the committee feels that since records have been submitted from your office, you should be able to speak to. This is a suit between the Attorney General and Yaya AJJ Jammeh in May 2017, which produced a ruling, an order of the High Court issued on the 22nd day of May 2017. I'll direct you to, I'll direct the committee to MOJ 5A, Honorable Chair. 5A. MOJ 5A. However, in your record, it is the Are you there? Honorable Chair, is the committee on the same page? Honorable, I would kindly guide the committee on the issues brought out by the order. Specifically on the custodians of certain property. Can I rephrase the question?
I think I understood the question. It's a long order. You see, it's about 15 paragraphs. Do I repeat or
Not at all. Not nothing serious. If you could just explain to the committee what the order sought to do, what the rationale was.
it was an interim order, from which I believe the receiver was appointed. The first receiver was appointed through this court order. I think that was August Storm. And a decision of various categories of assets, the court ordered, or in some cases for certain institutions to take custody. I believe for livestock, for example, in paragraph 4, the court said that all livestock be held by or in the possession and control of the respondent and his servants, agents, hereby cease pursuant to this order and are to be kept under custody and control of the Gambia Livestock Marketing Agency. So through this court order, the livestock, so first is a seizure order. All the assets were seized, and then they were put in different hands. For example, the animals were meant to be placed in the hands of GMLA, that's the Gambia Livestock Marketing Agency, and the receiver was to take custody of some of the some of the assets. It was meant to last 180 days, so that makes it interim. Unless it is extended, it will naturally lapse after 180 days.
To the best of your knowledge, was this order extended?
I've not seen any record of extension. So I take it that after 180 days, this order lapse natural.
AG, as you mentioned, the order placed assets, certain assets at the palms of several institutions.
Yeah.
You have mentioned the institution Gambia Livestock Marketing Agency, GILMA, to be the custodian of the livestock, and Gambia Wildlife Services,
Wildlife, yeah.
and so forth. And particularly, if you look at paragraph 2,
Yeah.
the Registrar General was also given custodian of several assets. Isn't that so?
Yeah. Listed in annex.
Yeah. Could you guide the committee as to what assets?
Paragraph 2 said, the custody and control of all movable and immovable properties held by or in the possession or control of the respondent his servants, his agents, associates, and family members, or otherwise howsoever, as listed in the Annex Mark 1, attached to this order, be and is hereby granted to the Registrar General. So, pretty much, that's a whole sum of assets, movable and immovable.
Well, AG, can you confirm who the Registrar General at the time was? This is in May 2017. I do understand that I am putting you on the spot. If you cannot recall, you're more than welcome to submit it to the committee on a later date.
It's safer, since I'm on the oath, it's safer I confirm and formally submit that.
So back to legal notice number 15 of 2017, MLJ 2, as per our list. Yes, it is understood that when you look at clause 1, clause 5, and clause 6, it is understood that the President has the prerogative of appointing the Secretary. As Attorney General, would you guide this on the committee as a consideration that are put when such appointments are made?
If specific qualifications are provided for, those will be taken into consideration. But generally, we look into issues of character and other competencies that make somebody fit and proper to discharge the duties for that position.
With reference to clause 6 of the legal notice, the same is applied for counsel to the Commission, but in this instance, it is the prerogative of the Attorney General. Would you say the same considerations would apply, or are there additional considerations?
Again, yes, pretty much. Because because this is council, of course, you will look for a legal practitioner. Yes, but the fit and proper test will apply.
From the records of the ministry, did the government of the Gambia envision a need for oversight? What is the propriety, if you could guide this on the committee, what is the propriety of any oversight? Oversight from a government to the commission. Is it proper for an institution of government to play oversight on a commission?
The same understanding of oversight. I think that's what the issue will be. But Section 200 is usually they are presidential in nature, because under Section 200 of the Constitution is the president that establishes commissions of inquiry. But from experience, they work through the Ministry of Justice. But that doesn't mean that no other ministry can supervise or work through them. But the oversight, in my understanding here, because these commissions, once they are established, in my view, they are autonomous. But the are there. You say some have to be made either by the president. If vacancies occur, there are administrative issues. Sometimes they may even need additional facilities, like the place they are supposed to operate from, vehicles, and so on and so forth. So with respect to that relationship with government, there must always be some form of a ministry or probably a department of government have to liaise with them. To what extent the oversight with them and what you mean by oversight, I don't know, but there is always going to be a contact ministry for the commissions. And there are conclusions and there are reporting and recommendations.
So just to be clear, the relationship between the commission and any ministry is for the purpose of contact and to facilitate administrative endeavors.
Yes, to facilitate their work for them, yes. But with respect, they are supposed to be done.
With respect to the TOR of commissioners, the secretary, and the lead counsel, can you confirm that the authority of the commission is first of all explicit in clause 2, and the authority would translate to the mandate of the commission? Is that so? That is clause 2 of the legal notice.
Yes, I'm saying. Yes, I agree.
Would you also agree that the TOR of commissioners,
I would rather say the TOR of the commission, because the TOR is not for individual commissioners, it's for the commission. Because they don't operate as individuals, they operate as a chamber, as a commission. So the TOR is not for commissioners, but for the commission.
So paragraph, clause 2 then describes the mandate of the commission.
Commission, yes, not commissioners.
Can you advise the committee on the TOR of commissioners?
The TOR of the commissioners
individually, would that be correlated to?
I've not seen that anywhere. Like I said, they're operating as a body. Like this committee is operating as a committee, not individual members. So that's my understanding. There's no TOR for individual members of this committee. The TOR is for the committee.
So just to give context on, since you brought the committee into play.
Well, I'm just citing example.
So you brought the committee into play. The committee is guided by standing orders, and the chair has a slightly different role from the rest of the committee, and that would be the TOR of the chairperson. So perhaps if I can limit my question to the chairperson, since you have confirmed that there is no TOR for the commission.
All right. I think I'll make the session shorter by avoiding examples. I have never seen a document describing TOR for commissioners. The TOR I've ever seen is for the commission.
So, to put it short, the commissioners execute the TOR, the mandate of the commission, and perhaps
some execute the mandate commission.
The commissioners.
So, as remember, once they are appointed, they belong to a body. Or to me, when they stand alone, they are nobody. Their power lies, so they perform their function within the commission. I don't know whether we're seeing eye to eye. It is the commission that is instituted. It is the commission that is given a mandate. Yes, the commission is made up of individual commissioners, but they function and discharge their mandate as a commission, not as individual commissioners.
The president. Oh. When you look at clause 2, and I would give you enough time, I'll ask the Honorable Chair to the committee to
whether the commission had a mandate to. Right, that will require me to go through the paragraph. The commission is authorized to inquire into and investigate. So investigation is clear. That is part of their mandate. If you're looking for a specific paragraph, if you guide me, it's easier because this is the longest paragraph of the legal notice.
It is, and that's perhaps why I asked the committee to give a bit of space.
So yes, they do investigate, ascertain bank policies, ascertain whether the withdrawal sums identify institutions, persons, and groups, inquire into and investigate an involvement of the executive arm, wholly not limited to people, ascertain whether applicable policies and procedures were followed, ascertain whether funds and resources withdrawn applied, identify institutions and persons and groups of persons directly involved, inquire into when, what extent, investigate the extent. Okay, I can take specific questions now on clause 2. I think I've gone through.
Just to make it shorter, what authority is given to the commission?
Precisely investigate, make findings, and recommend to government.
Would you say the commission, I'm just putting it out there, would you say the commission had the powers to prosecute or to adjudicate?
When you say prosecute, you mean criminal prosecution? Or prosecute civil cases? Prosecute in general?
Yes, in general.
And before itself or before another court of law?
I would allow you to deliberate on it.
Now, outside of this one, persons are set under the Constitution and they are vested with powers of the High Court with respect to compelling attendance of witnesses, production of documents, and also making interim orders. That's a constitutional issue. And they have mandate to implement that, which is outside. We will not find that in this legal notice. But that's a power that they have. So the way they utilize that, whether you call that prosecution or not, that's something else, but they have the powers of a court of law. High Court for that matter, with respect to compelling attendance of witnesses, production of documents, examining witnesses, and also making interim decisions.
Honorable AG, since you raised the issue of the Constitution, perhaps we could refer to Section 202 of the Constitution. Could you kindly guide the committee as to whether, having looked at Clause 2 and tallied it with 202 of the Constitution, especially 202(1), in your view?
No, I'll go to 202 if you have it.
Yes, but we would like context on 202(1) first, because
202(1) says the Commission of Inquiry shall make full and impartial investigation into the matter in respect of which the Commission is established, and B, furnish in writing a report on the result of the inquiry, including statement of the reasons leading to the conclusions of the Commission. My answer that I just gave before this question is related to 202(2).
I will allow you to deliver.
So 202 says the Commission of Inquiry shall have all the powers, rights, and privileges of a judge of the High Court at a trial in respect of A, enforcing the attendance of witnesses and examining them on both a commission or otherwise; B, compelling the production of documents; C, issuing commission or request for examination of witnesses abroad, and making interim orders. Yes. The general powers of the Commission of Inquiry and or general mandate, which is to investigate matters, make a report, and give reasons for their conclusions. I would say 202 provides them the power to be able to discharge that function. Some authority, because for you to be able to discharge certain functions, you need some form of, that's the authority to invite witnesses. If they refuse, you compel them. The authority to compel production of documents. So they need to have those authorities for them to be able to do their job. So 202 vested them with authority in order to perform 202(1).
So you then agree that 202(1) is where the core function is
of any Commission of Inquiry set up under the Constitution.
Yes.
Those are the general.
Yes.
So the specifics may be contained in the notice that.
Indeed.
Oh, yes, we agree on that.
And 202(1), when looked at, highlights that the Commission can investigate, if I can say the words, and report. There are two persons to investigate and, yes, yes.
go to the making interim order?
Yes, yes. How would a commission of inquiry go about exemplifying such a...
Okay, council. We've seen them issued by court. The one that I said here earlier, that's an interim order. That is issued by a court, high court. So it's not the kinds of orders that are made to last within the period of time. So, if you do so, it will be very depending on the circumstances they are dealing with. But it should be fine. That meant to be taken, but are meant to last within the period of time.
Those orders are included to be right to questions or the question of the standing legal notice.
Come again.
Very good. Are those orders to coordinate with the legal notice establishing any given commission?
Whether the interim orders of inquiry meet issues, whether they should be in line with their terms of reference. Yes, because to a great extent, yes, because the terms of reference serves as the framework within which they are meant to operate. So the orders must be linked to their mandate. I agree with that.
Thank you. When we look at this particular commission of inquiry, perhaps before that, Honorable AG, for the benefit of the committee, could you guide on an interim order? Of course, you had mentioned an interim order is not asked for protection, and that is denoted from the interim order. What's the index? Why do courts or commissions need such powers?
It's just to take care of a given situation they're facing with. So for me, that will differ on the exact situation they are trying to deal with. But these are powers that are vested in the courts, and I've said sometimes they are used to remedy or mitigate an irreversible harm that may occur if such orders are not made. So, and you know, generally in the courts we call them injunctions in general, and their main purpose is that to prevent a greater harm, so or restore or keep a status quo in place. So they may vary depending on the kind of order that is being granted.
So preservation is definitely key among
preservation of a status quo, prevention of certain harm that may arise, and this is a situation where you cannot wait for the whole process to play out. So you need to take a decision at the moment now to take care of it now, because it is a situation that could not wait for a longer period to prevail. So it varies from one situation to another, but mainly broadly, these are some of the.
I can appreciate that it may vary from one situation to the other. At any given period, would disposal also be within the realm of your answer?
Disposal of assets.
Indeed.
This is a very broad power. I have to put it that way. It's a broad power, and the power did not limit it. So long as the order is relevant to the mandate of what the commission is meant to be settled for, have any issues with it. But unless we are specific, I don't want to make a general answer to say yes or no, because it may vary depending on the situation that the commission was facing at a given time.
I'm satisfied with that. If the Honorable Chair, I would then move on to the appointment of personnel of the Commission.
Thank you.
Honorable AG, when it comes to appointment, is there ordinarily a role that your ministry will play in advising the government, the President, to be specific, in appointing the Commissioner and the Secretary?
For this particular commission, but the commissions that are created while I'm in office, usually this will be limited to legal practitioners who might serve either in the commission itself or serve as counsel. Because different expertise are needed, both at the commission level or at the secretariat. So there are certain staff that have to be appointed at the secretariat level. Based on my experience, I have never advised on other staff. But where legal evidence is required, yes, I'm consulted to advise. But I don't know in this specific committee how the appointments are.
Perhaps if you can draw reference from the commissions that you have set up, just to guide the committee, would it be appropriate for the Attorney General to put in a word or two in advice as to personnel who will form up of the commissioners and the secretary? Since usually the commissions of inquiry have a legal face, if I can put it that way.
Yeah, they are quasi-judicial. Wrong with it, because any minister is the president on any subject if the president requires your advice.
And of course, you have confirmed that when it comes to the legal practitioner or counsel, the Attorney General would indeed advise. Now, I can appreciate that you had previously given an answer that there is a criteria, but could you guide this committee as to specifics that the Attorney General would look at in appointing any of these individuals? I do appreciate that it mostly applies to lead counsel. However, if you could just shed light.
So, for chairpersons or commissions of inquiry, the qualification is stated in, I think, 200. Is it? Yeah. We have 201, 2. But thereabout. So, for chairperson, the qualifications are in the Constitution. If it is a Section 200 Constitution, the chairperson's qualification is stated that it must be a person who was either a High Court judge or is qualified to be appointed a High Court judge. So that one is in the Constitution. I think we also have a Commission of Inquiry Act. Either there or one of the legislations, I couldn't accurately recall which legislation, which also states that other commission members should at least have some competence or experience in the subject matter, or let's say the mandate of the commission. Because every commission is set up to look at something. So it is desirable that other than the chair, other members that are to be identified have some form of competence or experience in the subject matter of the inquiry. Yeah? Yeah. So those are some of the guiding principles we apply.
Thank you, Attorney General. In applying those guiding principles, is there any requirement for filtering through conflicts of interest? Now, to put context to it, I can appreciate that the TOR, sorry, refer to it as the mandate of the commission, clause 2, would have been drafted prior to the appointment of commission, lead counsel, and secretary.
Ideally, yes.
Ideally, yes. So, with that in mind, are there any protocols put in place to filter through conflicts of interest and whatnot in your view?
Every such appointment should look into the issue of conflict of interest, yes.
Thank you. Now, we have clarified that, or rather you have clarified that the commissioners act as a unit, and they act per clause 2. Was, however, the secretary given a TOR?
On top of my head, I can say his appointment letter should outline his tasks. But I'm also going to have to confirm, my team is here with me, the Commission of Inquiry Act made mention of a secretary. I'm not too sure whether it went into detail what the function of the secretary should be. So we can but we can also look at whoever was secretary, their appointment letters are supposed to say something about their job. But because they are also staff of commission, they are also answerable to the commission, so the commission can also give them further directives.
Well, Honorable Chair, I would ask for MOJ 7.
Okay.
And refer the committee to MOJ 7, which is the appointment letter for the first secretary. And, while we turn to MOJ 7, perhaps my apologies, MOJ 3E.
Oh, okay.
3E. Perhaps before we go into MOJ record is the appointment of the secretary, Alhaji Mahmoud Kura. Honorable Agent, could you guide the committee as to which body, whether the ministry, the government, or the commission, is the appropriate body to issue the TOR for the secretary, or could it be both?
I'll still want to refer back to the Commission of Inquiry Act.
If I can, just for expediency, to section 6 of that act.
May I borrow it because I'm trying to locate mine?
But if I could ask the Secretariat to facilitate yeah. It is chapter 30. Chapter 30 should be in the first few, either one or two. Chapter 30. Indeed, it is bona fide.
Can you refresh me with the question about the secretary?
So, the question was whether the secretary was in the you are alluded to that perhaps it could be entailed in a letter.
The letter I looked at, I don't think it's very helpful.
Can you confirm?
So in the appointment letter of the first secretary, he was directed to familiarize himself with the commission terms of reference. But the letter itself did not specify terms of reference. So that's why I'm trying to locate.
Sure, as you flip through the pages of volume 5, could I especially read paragraph 20? Just to me, that's I will tell you for you. The paragraph says, this is the third paragraph in the appointment letter. It says, kindly familiarize yourself with the Commission's terms of reference and your attached TOR, which is the terms of reference, as a guide to your work.